If you're feeling stuck, it's because you're not living in the PAN method lifestyle. This video is going to help you get unstuck, because this is literally the method that I use for any area of your life. It doesn't matter if you're stuck trying to manifest something like a soulmate, trying to manifest a job, trying to manifest more money, trying to manifest or build a business, procrastination, the mindset of defeat, whatever it is that you are stuck in, this will change your life. So what is the PAN method? And this is taken from the amazing, can you guess? Write in the comments, actually. Pause this video and guess, where does the PAN method come from before you continue this video? And I'm gonna write it. Drum roll, make sure you're writing in the comments. I wanna see this. This is a fun game, guys. Use your intuition and guess, where does the PAN method come from? Write it now. Right, the PAN method. First we'll go over what is PAN. P is pre, A is adult, and N, normality, or the norm. Pre-adult normality. PAN, in case you've commented, if you're right, it's from Disney. Walt Disney. Again, guys, do you know what the best, if you like successful people and you like studying successful people and you want to be successful, the story of Walt Disney, there's a film actually, I think it's called Walter or Walt Before Mickey. Amazing film, shows the story of how Disney came up with half of his stories, and also the struggle, because I think he was on the struggle bus journey for about 14 years before he tasted true success. And so it shows you how long sometimes the process can take, but you have to not give up, right? But anyway, PAN is from Peter Pan. Raise your hand if you have seen Peter Pan. Obviously I can't see you, but just comment if you have watched it. Now, Peter Pan, pre-adult normality. Forget Peter, we're talking about the PAN method, okay? It's a method. What is a method? A set of processes. Oh. Let's put this down here. Processes, ingredients, which you follow to get unstuck. So anytime that you are sitting in this energy of stuckness, I want you to remember the PAN method. Just think Peter Pan. What did Janie say? Pre-adult normality. Now, pre means before, right? So it's in the past. Adult is obviously a grown-up, growing up, which is growing upwards. Normality, the norm, what's considered accepted, right? It's embraced as the norm. So when I say embrace the PAN method, what's happened is, before you grew up into an adult, you were accepted with all of the things that you were a child, right? Pre-adult simply means your child self, the child version of you, okay? And this can come in stages between 0 and 6, between 6 and 12, between 12 and 30, okay? Now, in each of these zones, you would have picked up and done a lot of different things in that era of your life. So what you want to do is go back into the past to this childhood state, no matter what age you are watching this. Go back into each of these zones and start seeing where you used to do things that were accepted that are no longer accepted as an adult self. Where were you doing things that were embraced by you, by yourself, as a child or as your parents or whatever, whoever accepted that this was okay, this was your norm because you were a child? If you've left behind any of those things, go and start redoing them. When you start redoing the things that you did as a child, in your adult stage, you will slowly find yourself not being so stuck, okay? And I'm going to give you examples of this. So, pre-adult normality, what kind of stuff was embraced and accepted? Imagination, number one. What's the biggest thing they teach us in schools? In society, in the school system, kids are doing? They're playing with their imaginary friends. They're playing in their imagination, right? So play. Play is a big, important part of the PAN method. What does Peter Pan love doing? He never wants to grow up. In Neverland, they never grow up. So why in our society is growing up and being an adult looked upon as something amazing, when in reality, all of us were way happier when we were kids, when we were playing. And even now, if we get to play all day with our games and not do any work, why are we so content? Why is our soul so excited and so lit up? Why do we go to theme parks? For excitement, for fun, for play. Why do we go out and play games like basketball or board games or whatever it is, right? Because it allows us to be, and being is so important for manifestation. You have to be, and then you do, and then you have the thing you want. So if you are stuck not having, it means you are in your adult self, in your adult normality, which tells you imagination is for kids, which tells you playing is for kids, and that you should not be behaving a certain way. But my method is simply, anytime I've been stuck, I go and play, and I go to my imagination, and I create. Do you know what kids are? They're creative. Creativity. Okay? They simply find the joy in the things they do. And this can be joy in their imagination. It can be joy with actually playing with their toys. They go out on the playground. They will literally concoct their own stuff in their imagination and they will be happy. So this is the PAN method. This is what you want to be doing. If you are feeling stuck in any way of your life, then apply the PAN method. Just go back to your pre-adult norms. Before you became an adult, what was normal to you? What felt so good to you? What did you like playing? It can be simple, like Barbie. I don't care if you're 50 years old and a woman, a grandma, go and buy yourself a Barbie. It will bring out the inner child that needs to come and play. If you're a 50-year-old man, 60-year-old man, 30-year-old man, 29-year-old man, I don't care. Go and get yourself the thing that maybe you left behind. Maybe your parents told you you should stop doing this now. Whatever that creativity was that is inside of your heart and soul, you need to stop being an adult. And that norm that's been created by society and culture is keeping you stuck. That's the biggest thing that I see. The biggest thing that we do, the work that we do in my programs, is literally getting you to work with that inner child again. Because that is where your freedom is at. That is where your soul will slowly start to connect back to you, because you've shunned her aside, you've shunned him aside. Remember, Peter Pan never wants to grow up. He never wants to be an adult. That should be your motto. I never want to grow up, but I embrace aging in like terms of the physical and like my gray hairs and stuff, like much more better than most people around me who are like, gray hair. But my soul is ever youthful. My soul will forever find what's fun to me. I'm going to go do that. Oh my God, when I was little, when I was in my pre-adult norms, do you know what I used to do in my imagination? Do you know what my plaything was? My mum would say, I would get a whiteboard or chalkboard. I'd ask for those things for Christmas and I'd just want to play teacher. What does it look like I'm doing now as an adult on YouTube? I am creating random stuff like the PAN method that I follow that I then teach other people. Teacher. And I feel like playing. I literally come on here and I film and I feel like I'm playing with you guys. I feel like I'm helping you guys to get unstuck, but I'm also playing and I'm creating from my creativity, right? I am in the zone. When I decided I want to be a psychic and I went to do psychic fairs and stuff, I was playing because I was like, oh my God, I always thought it'd be so cool to be some sort of magical woo-woo thing, like from Harry Potter or something. And I was like, I'm like Professor Trelawney. Obviously not. She's obviously psychic and stuff as well. But just anything that you feel like is play is possible for you to bring into your reality. Kids believe it. You were a kid once and you still have that kid inside of you. You just need to bring it out. You've flipped it. It's almost like what I'm seeing is like an inside out t-shirt. And it's kind of like, yeah, I'm just hiding all the colors now and I'm just going to wear the dull side. And it's like, flip that shit back and wear the colorful side back. It will get you unstuck, I promise you. Even when I manifested my soulmate, it can work in any area of your life, you guys. Like I've just given you an example of this for YouTube, for my work stuff, making money. And I didn't think about the money. Kids don't think about money unless it's like pocket money that parents start to instill in them. But before that, do kids ever think about money unless we teach it to them? No. What do they think about? Playing. So I need you to, and you might be sitting there going, yeah, but Janie, we need to survive. No, that is a survival mindset. You've got a survival conditioning, which can switch to everything has an opposite, right? Let's talk about this. Everything has an opposite. So if you are like, oh, Janie, I can't play because I've got a job, does it look like I'm in survival? I had a child and I was on the benefit system in the UK and single parent, and I created this business. So that's a mindset that we have to work through. I was in survival mode too. Like my dad, very heavy negative, until this day, he still sits in it, a very lack mentality, a lack mindset. And me as an empath, I was absorbing all of this shit, right? On top of that, I'm a projector. With most of my centers open, if you know human design, then you know that. What that means, I'll do another video on that at some point. But this means that I literally absorb other people's shit so easily. But I don't let that stop me from staying in the dark for too long, like longer than I need to be. So everything has an opposite side. I want you to think of the world in opposites. Okay, and you are on one side or the other because we live in a world of duality. The material plane, the physical plane, and the spiritual plane, and the mental plane. Spiritual and mental come together in a way because spirituality, we connect through, like the mind is also another home for the soul, I say, because that's where we tap into our imagination. That's where we connect to our intuition. And at the same time, it's also the house for the ego. So it stores kind of both. So in a way, we are still living in a dual world of material and spiritual. So with opposites, if you say, okay, survival. If you're surviving, what is the opposite to surviving? This is where you're just trying to live, yeah? Trying to live. On this side, you're thriving. Because you're not trying to live, you're living abundantly. Now, this is important because when I say you have to play, play is on this side, because when you're in survival, you're hunting. You cannot play, you're working. What's the opposite to play? Work, right? What's the opposite to hunting? Eating. And this goes back to, I think I taught when I teach my spiritual business, how to build a business with the 3 planes of the universe. You can check the video in my library. I talk about the farmer and how he plants a seed so that he can grow his own fruit and vegetables and then eat that, but at the same time share it with the people around him. Versus, and this is the creator versus consumer, if you are just consuming, you are just working to pay off everything that you need to survive. You have not planted your seeds so that you can eat your own stuff. You have to go on to these people. And this is where the rich and the poor, the divide is so strong as well, right? And this is jumping from the pan method deeper into this survival. I'll do another video on this, but I just want you to understand that if you are having those thoughts, know that you are in survival mode. And all you have to do, because we talk about being, then you do, and then you have. So if you are being this version of yourself, you're being the survival being, how are you going to manifest what you want? How are you going to get unstuck? By moving yourself to the opposite side. You need to start being a person who lives abundantly, however that looks for you in your imagination. Like I said, you don't have to physically go and spend money abundantly. You have to imagine that you are abundant, because right now all you're imagining yourself to be is a workaholic. And then your evidence around you, the universe literally creates your reality from your mind. So if your mind is having those thoughts of survival, guess what's going to be showed in your environment? You're also going to be showed, yes, you have to work and you are in survival mode, but you have to do the work to switch your mind over into, no, I'm living abundantly. I'm living abundantly. And I keep doing this. I've done this since I've been on the benefit system, since my child was like 1 year old. And slowly over time, I've moved into a much more abundant space. And this can take years, you guys, depending on how much conditioning you have had from society. But if you don't get started, you're never going to move from that side to the other side at all. So this is the work. Use the pan method. Every time that you're feeling stuck, go back and question, where am I not being my child's self? Where can I bring my imagination, my creativity and play? And this can look like one tiny thing a day, right? It doesn't have to be this big thing. It can look like every day for half an hour, I'm going to paint. It can look like every day for half an hour, I'm going to read a book. Every day for half an hour, whatever it is, every day for 5 minutes. I started with 5 minutes of rewiring my brain, and then eventually it became longer and longer and bigger and bigger. Whatever feels like fun to you that you did as a child, there are clues as to how you can get unstuck by being that child version of yourself. And anybody who told you, oh, you shouldn't be doing this or you should be stopping that, forget that and recreate what makes you feel happy. Stop living for other people's happiness as well. That is also a Peter Pan method. Some people call it selfish. I call it selfless. It's a way of selfless loving towards yourself. And that's what we need more of in this world. So be kind to yourself, love on yourself. Use the Pan method, think of Peter Pan, pre-adult normality. This is what you want to be using to get yourself unstuck every time. If you like this video, please give it a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video. Mwah.